In a way, I believe most people have a special heart for the first Mario Party they have ever played in their life. For me it was 2, 3 and 4, and all the other ones I have tried after were kinda meh, never reaching those heights again. But for a younger person you see lots of them loving the Wii ones, where for a boomer like me it already went downhill, and there's probably even people out there who loved 9 and 10, you know, the ones with the car. But have you ever heard anyone talk about Mario Party Advance? I have not. And there's probably a reason for it, because it's not really a true Mario Party experience. Sure, it got minigames, but it's not an actual true board game experience, but something else. But does that make it worse? Let's find that out. First time I booted up the game, I thought they made a simple typo with the word gadget, because they wrote it with a double D, like the cup size. But it turns out the famed Professor E. Gadd from the famous video game Luigi's Mansion created some gadgets. I personally hate puns. But we will come to those gadgets later, and obviously aside from the gadgets, we have tons of minigames. Otherwise it wouldn't be Mario Party, right? But suddenly Bowser and his loyal mini Bowser attack and stomp the poor Toad to death. Just look at this. How did Toad not die after this? Now it's up to you to recover all the minigames and gadgets that Bowser just sent all over Shroom City. You do that by not playing the usual board game, but a board game open world where you fulfill quests. You get a couple of mushrooms, and basically they stand for how many dices you have left. If you want a 4, you go forward 4 places. Everyone knows how that works. But if you run out of mushrooms, you get a game over and have to start again, which can be quite frustrating. Why? Because I am unlucky as heck, and because some of the quests involve you going all around the map, and you have to do it all again if it happens. Oh hell yeah, I love it when I roll 3 low numbers in a row and I'm only on 2 mushrooms left and my goal is at the other side of the map, so I will not be able to reach it probably. But luckily you can get onto a minigame field where you have to beat a minigame to get more mushrooms, or a reroll field that allows you to roll again, but sometimes you also get a random chance to win mushrooms by winning a minigame without even having to get to a random minigame field. But if you lose that, tough luck, better roll some high numbers next time. And for some of these minigames you will need that luck, because some of them felt pretty hard while others felt so simple and easy in comparison. Switch Way by far the worst one of them. It's based on the moving platforms from Mario Bros. Wii, where you can change the direction, but Mario feels so wrong to control and not smooth at all. I may have played it like a total idiot at first, but in some of these you first gotta get the hang out of them and will fail on your first try, so you won't win the precious mushrooms and probably go game over soon after. In comparison to that, you can get something like Spooky Spike, which is really fun, and you just gotta hit back the ball that Boo spikes at you. Simple and fun, just like the on the spot minigame where you gotta give Wumps a back rub poke. I wish Peach would poke my back, because sometimes it really hurts and I'm getting old. Even though it would probably break my back, because how hacking hard can she poke? Wouldn't you need to poke a Wump really hard for it to notice the poke, since they are made out of stone or cement? So you vroom around the various fields in Shroom City and find people that live there and ask them, what's your problem, dude? Some are simple, like this Pokey asking you 3 simple questions that even a baby can answer, and it gives you a gadget for it. Then there's casino minigames at the various game rooms, like the one Hoot is at. This stupid owl got enough depth to not make him able to fly anymore, because it's weighing him down. So now you gotta win at roulette for him. And heck, these casino games suck, because they are all based on luck mostly. Don't gamble. Some of the people make you play a normal minigame with them, and then there's also duel minigames where you gotta win at, well, a duel. Some of them only want to fight against specific characters though. For example, the little spear guy only wants to fight against characters with a mustache. So you gotta come to him with Luigi or Mario, no Peach or Yoshi allowed. Those 4 are the only playable characters, by the way, and there's no real difference between them, except that they all start at different points in Shroom City. But in the duel minigames you don't even duel against the person you talk to, but instead it's another playable character, which I assume is random. But every time I play the duel minigame as Mario, though my opponent was Peach, so I'm not quite sure what does that mean. Maybe it's not random. Maybe they're fighting a lot recently, like mom and dad. The chainsaw duel minigame was brutal though. You gotta press L and R after each other, and that's not the brutal part, but look at what happens to the loser of it. Peach just got fucking murdered by Mario. Overall, the quality of the minigames is a bit mixed, and you can really feel that they're mostly for a single player experience, except for the dual minigames. But I could say this for any Mario Party. Every one of them has a few cool minigames and some that are not so cool. Some of these side quests are honestly amazing. The game oozes so much charm and feels like a combination of the writing of the old Paper Mario games coupled with a bit of the art style of the Mario Luigi games. One side quest involves a Thwomp who got robbed, who also speaks with a funny accent. Shumlock from Toadland Yard comes in and now you two investigate and have to find out who could have done it and why someone would rob this poor Thwomp who has tons of boxing and workout machines that you need hands for. Or arms. And he doesn't really have any. So why does he use them? Or how does he use them? Being born as a Thwomp is probably one of the worst things that can happen to you in the Mushroom Kingdom. So now you gotta solve this crime and it turns out nobody actually robbed him. He just wanted to have people over because he has no friends. What a poor little Thwomp. I would be his friend. And you would be too, right? Hopefully. You wouldn't let him down, right? Then there's Pedal Guy who found the love of his life in a flutter, also called Flying Wiggler, and wants you to deliver his letter to it. The thing is, you don't know where the heck it actually is, so I tried finding it because I thought it would show up on the map somewhere, but it didn't, so I ran out of moves and gave up before I randomly saw Flutter show up on the map in a few rounds later to show me where it lives, in some random condo with multiple floors. So now I knew where Flutter lives, so I had to go all the way back to the Pedal Guy at the end of the map, just so I can take the letter and go back to the other end of the map to deliver it, just so that Pedal Guy walks through the door right after me to confess his love and get rejected because he's a creepy stalker dude who Mario should kill before Pedal Guy actually kidnaps Flutter. Very creepy little fellow. While the quest was funny itself, it showed the problem with the game itself again. Some of these quests are just fetch quests, where people give you items and tell you to deliver them to other places, sometimes only giving you a slight hint and you gotta randomly walk around till the characters randomly show up, or you just have to guess and waste a round on going somewhere just to find out that it was the wrong way or wrong house. After you solve enough quests, you unlock one of Bowser's pipes and have to go to Bowser's pipe house to then choose the pipe. I'm not gonna even make a bong or pipe joke, and meet him and beat him off in a joke minigame before he gives you a real minigame where you have to genocide a bunch of mini Bowsers, which is a random amount. And yeah, you really just kill a bunch of mini Bowsers in those minigames, but the amount of them changes depending on the random counter you have to spin before it. But the joke minigames are great, like this one where Bowser is a goalie and you just have to nutmeg him, or the one where he is freezing to death and you gotta tell him really unfunny jokes to make him laugh to warm him up. It's cute and I love seeing Bowser like this. And it's kinda all you do, solve the quests, get more minigames and gadgets, and eventually beat the big mini Bowser after unlocking all pipes. If the game didn't have the mechanic with driving around the map and being able to run out of mushrooms and having to restart the current quest or round, it would have been a way less annoying game, because a couple of bad dice rolls can really hack you over. At least at the start, till you understand most of the minigames and basically just win so many lives that you won't want out of them anymore. The gadgets are pretty much glorified phone apps, such as counting sheep. Imagine being a parent and having to buy tons of batteries because your dumb kid is using a Game Boy Advance to count sheep at night to fall asleep while the GBA is still in use, so when it wakes up, the batteries got drained harder than me when I went to my monthly CBT session. Every day. As a kid, I was kinda afraid of batteries. Don't ask me why. Then you got a compatibility measure test. I can't imagine anything more romantic than having the first crush of your life and asking her if she wants to test her compatibility with you while holding your Game Boy together with you, and then either get a really low percentage or her already rejecting the simple idea of touching your greasy Game Boy Advance and you get your heart broken. Don't want to brag, but I was kinda popular during elementary school, but back then me and my friends thought touching girls gave you AIDS, so I was the one rejecting them instead. Kids are weird. There's also Stick to It, where you can make a stick fall over into a random direction to decide things like who's gonna have to get the trashed third-party controller when playing Smash. Another great one was Egg Panic, where you just shit eggs into a bag till it whips. That's literally it. But my absolute favorite for sure was the Breeze Body, a cool, see what I did there, gadget that turns your GBA into a fan. I recently finally bought a fan for the first time ever, like a real one, and I greatly enjoy it and appreciate it. That's the real Breeze Body. But this one is a mere fake. As a kid, it would probably be funny for 2 seconds to pretend it's real though. And it reminds me when iPhones were a new thing and a friend in school got one and everyone was like, wow, show us what that bad boy can do. And he then pulled out that app that shows a glass of water or beer on your iPhone, and if you tilt the phone you can pretend you're drinking out of it with insane water physics. These simple pleasures in life, when it was still full of wonders. While most of these gadgets are totally useless, they have a certain charm to them. I couldn't play the multiplayer since I got no friends, and well, I was emulating it, don't tell Nintendo please, but I watched some gameplay of it and it looks like fun. And with friends everything is fun anyways, I think. Sometimes I see people saying the multiplayer in like the new Super Mario Bros. Game sucks, and I'm like, how? It's some of the best fun I ever had with friends back in the day. Total chaos and griefing each other lots when picking someone else up and throwing them into holes. I wish someone filled my holes. But anyways. I looked up the manual of the game online, and if you do play with friends, it has a bonus board mode where you can play it in a more classical Mario Party way. I mostly looked for the manual because I wanted to see if the passport you create at the start of the game truly matters, but not really. You can exchange it with friends, and for some reason the game asks you for your biggest secret and says it won't reveal it. But in the manual I also found out you can have a secret battle with your friend where the loser has to reveal the secret he put into the game. Damn. Imagine if you could bait someone into playing that without them paying attention to what mode you chose, so you choose this and they lose and actually reveal a life-changing secret because they took it seriously that the game wouldn't tell their secret to others, which will destroy your relationship with them because it is such a hacked up secret they put in. I wish they brought this back for new Mario Party games, would make games more spicy. While I also looked around online for the manual, I looked at the Mario wiki page for this game and they had a bunch of reviews on it. For example, this one from Eurogamer that gave it a 1 out of 10 and called it the worst published game from Nintendo ever so far. Even back in the day, that was not true, I would say. What really caught my eye though was the review from Pocket Gamer that gave the game a 4 out of 10 with the words of, this is a real quote, on paper. Lots of things hold great promise. The deed to a new house, a marriage certificate, Hitler's signature on a pre-war scrap of paper, but the reality can often deliver nothing more than crushing disappointment. Really didn't expect this game to be kinda compared to Hitler. So the question was, is it the worst Mario Party game? Not really, it's just kinda different and I wouldn't even truly call it a Mario Party game. It's a fun little game that just gets a bit tiring with its fetch quests and annoying gameplay mechanics sometimes. It's worth checking out for its fun writing at least and pleasing aesthetic, and a few fun minigames here and there. If you want a Mario Party where you drive around in a car and actually have fun, this is the Mario Party for you. And well, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, you can give it a like and also a subscription and have yourself a good party for clicking that party. Like the video, you know, you clicked on it because Mario Party, so clicking party. You can even invite me, but I would mostly not come since I'm not a party goer. I went to one once and it was, let's just say I'm not a party kind of person. Good night.